Yes, sir. Okay. I am going to juice some grapes and at the same time just talk to you guys about what's going up. Because right now I'm I am probably like 7 hours from 48, so I'm 41 hours into a juice fast right now. And primarily a grape juice fast. I bought 1 bag, 2 bags, about 5 bags. I'm not gonna show you all of them. But, you know, what is food? Food is honestly really entertaining. And so I've been having to get creative with how I entertain myself. And I just went down the wildest little rabbit hole. So the last video that I did had to do with what is the only thing that I should do. And it ended up being, you know, do what makes me happy. Simple enough. And so one of the things that I haven't been doing recently that makes me super happy is astral projection. Because of the loss that I tend to experience when I get deep into that stuff. And in that video, I think I talked a little bit about it. There's another video I made called Reintroducing Astral Projection the Right Way. And what I basically did, or what I basically figured out through self-reflection, is that right now my life is providing me with the job, with the people that allows for me to reintroduce astral projection in a way that is sustainable, that I won't lose friends around me, that I will have people that are not only supportive but interested in my work and open to learning it. My partner, God bless her, she's awesome. And so she's really interested in learning all of this. But, sorry, I'm gonna be looking down because I'm taking these grapes all the way. Maybe I'll move you over here. That'd be kind of nice. See if I stand right here. Okay, dope. So one of my things with astral projection though is it necessary to attain what Jesus had? That enlightenment, what Buddha had, what Sri Yukteswar, what Lahiri, what all these wonderful souls had. And so I kind of put that baby to bed for a hot minute because I needed to get my eating right. I realized that yes, I could astral project, but I had to prepare myself for it. It wasn't something that was very, how do I describe it? Easy with my current lifestyle, because I had tendencies to be a glutton. I had tendencies to eat food, which I would just be like, all right, maybe I'm not gonna astral project today. Or I just set myself back 3 to 4 hours before I could attempt an astral projection. And that was really annoying. And so a lot of it was my eating, my normal lifestyle, my usage of any type of substance such as alcohol or weed had gotten significantly better than in the previous years when I was wildly depressed. But anyway, I started to read this book called The Mucusless Diet Healing System, and it was by Professor Arnold Ehret. And the book is incredible. I will be talking about it probably a lot because of all the stuff that it's done to me and provided for me. But one of the guys that revised it and edited it and kind of brought it back to the limelight, his name is Professor Spira. And so Spira has his own YouTube channel and he's been posting there for years. And so I just started to soak up every ounce of information that man had, because he's been a practitioner of this system for 20 something years. You know, he performed a 6-month-long juice fast on his 3rd year, a 6-month-long juice fast on his 4th year, a 4-month-long on his 5th, and then a 6-month-long on his 6th. His mentor, the guy that got him into it, over the course of 9 years, so I think that's like 114 months, he only, or I can't remember the exact number, but over the course of 9 years, he only ate for 9 months. 9 months. You, what? That's crazy. Anyway. Yeah, so I would listen to those guys talk, and it was really fun stuff, but it was just about the diet, just about the system. So you know, I was getting my notes in and all that, but it was like, I was missing the spirituality, man. And I had just come from a period of my life that was very materialistic, very shallow, and just overall lacking when it came to the spiritual aspect of things. So what I'm gonna move, sorry, I'm grabbing my juicer right now. We're going to make some grape juice. Oof. Let me switch up the topic just a second. I get so nervous when I'm recording. Like 3 times I've wanted to just end this video and just start recording. I have issues with perfectionism, and Spira, God bless Spira, he does drop really good knowledge bombs that are different off the diet, but he says it's not about perfection, it's about results. So this video will never be perfect, but I'm just gonna be happy with it. But anyway, yeah, so they talk about the diet and it's awesome. And I don't know, I was just really missing it. And I did really start getting obsessed with the idea of physical immortality, like preserving the body and really seeing like the physiological potential, the body's potential, and what it could do. Because you hear these stories and they're like, yeah, after about 4 months, like after about like 4 months, I stopped burning when I was in the sun. Or, you know, they talk about the increase in their smell, where they could smell everything. And they started talking about how people who ate a bunch of dairy and meat like had this death smell to them. And over time, I started to notice the things they said were very true. My eyesight healed itself. It wasn't becoming bad, but I definitely wasn't, you know, I was noticing a degeneration in my eyesight over the course of like the past 3 or 4 years. It was becoming noticeable, and that reversed itself very quickly. They corrected a lot of my wrong thinking in terms of how food actually provides energy. They introduced proper and rational fasting to me, hence why I'm doing it now. I've fasted before, and this is by far the easiest fast I've ever done. And like tomorrow, I go into work. I'm gonna work a 7-hour shift. And I don't really plan on stopping this, if I'm being honest. This is really nice. But I also don't want to make this an ego thing. They also warn against that. Like, why are you fasting? And so I was thinking about it, and the reason I'm fasting is because, one, I want it to be a reminder that, like, I can do this. I'm capable of these things. I want it to provide inspiration, because when you do start to fast and you do step away from, you know, like solid food, even though these are grapes, eating versus not eating provides 2 completely different mental, emotional, and physical experiences. You know, with the juice, oh, whoopsie. Sorry, my door opened. With juice being my primary meal, it's flushing a lot of stuff out. And I'm a user of the enema. I'm talking so fast. I'm a user of an enema. And so my internals are really clean, baby. I'll tell you that right now. And back to the sink. Let me turn that off. And so my physical body is honestly pretty quiet. My intestines have really shrunk down. They're not really stretched out, and over the past like few months I haven't been overeating like I once used to, and especially I haven't been overeating on starches. So I'm I'm just internally really clean, and it's a completely different headspace than I once was at. But yeah, there's that. So that's an awesome experience to dive back into in such a healthy and systematic way. And then it all goes back to astral projection, really. I've noticed that once I astral projected, my whole life kind of became like a purpose of how do I make this something that I'm doing more? Because it's so profound and it's beautiful and it's special. And so, bringing it back to what's been going on, this whole system, this whole diet, all of that, made me start watching Spira. And so Spira is a great naturopath in his own right. And he doesn't really like a lot of health YouTubers, except one. that he mentions and references to consistently and even suggests you listen to. And his name is Dr. Robert Morse. He's a naturopath. And that man, hold on, let me look at you. That man is the truth. It is insane. I'm honestly at a loss for words. I watch his videos. He's got hundreds of them. I don't even know how old some of them are. And so I just put on one of them and started to do my exercises, and I was just like, wow, this guy's got it. And then he started to talk about spirituality. I was like, whoa, okay. And so over the course of the past 6-8ish months, I've become a little bit hard on that topic. I'm not so open as I once was, primarily because I'm bitter. I was bitter of everything that I had lost throughout that time. I felt like no one was really consistent. Some out there topics were just so out there, I really couldn't connect or relate to them. And it was just I didn't have experiencing these things, and diving into it made me lose people which were close to me and important to me. So it just, I don't know, it was just a touchy subject for me. But I learned that Robert Morse had been astral projecting for probably as many years as the man has been practicing medicine and healing people. And this guy, this is an old lad. Man's been around the sun a few times. And so I was like, whoa. And so at one point he talks about protection and his experiences out in the astrals. And he started talking about Eck-masters. And I was like, what? And he was talking about going into the astrals, and he says, Phoebe Quantz is still out there. Paul Twitchell is out there. And he put these beings on the same level as people like Jesus Christ. And I've had my run-ins with the man. Jesus is an unbelievable spiritual figure. And being in his presence is something ridiculous. There's hundreds of years of study, thousands of years of meditating is not even close to what you can experience and truly realize by just being in his presence for 3 minutes, a minute, a second. I don't even know, dude, it's ridiculous. But you can't just tell me that these beings are the same level as him. So I looked it up. I looked up Eck-masters, and what I found was a religion, oof, red flag, at least for me, called Eckankar. And so Eckankar was brought around or revived back into the public eye in 1965 by the man Paul Twitchell, which is one of the people that Robert Morse had met in the astrals. And so what I've learned, well, initially I didn't really learn much. I saw that they had a lineage. They had quite an extensive list of people who had attained enlightenment through this system. As I would later come to find out, that Eckankar was a deviation, a branch from another system called Vardankar. And Vardankar is, hold up, sorry, we gotta go clean some more grapes. Vardankar is a system in which you attain enlightenment, God realization, self-realization, whatever you'd like to call it, through out-of-body experiences, through astral projection. And so my eyes lit up. I was like, hey, yo, ask and you shall receive. Because recently I was near tears, man. I was like, give me a reason to astral project. Oh my God. I tried going back to my old teacher and going to one of his classes. I was gonna pay $120 to just speak to him and to just find some type of inspiration to get back into it, because it just didn't, I wanted to astral project, but my desire for it wasn't great enough. I would rather eat grapes than go astral project, because it just wasn't important to me. And I wanted it to be important to me. And so to hear these people that also recognize that it's not the only path, that's something that's awesome, okay? If you're gonna be any type of system of belief or a system of spirituality, if you got any type of credibility, you understand that you're not the only way, and you're very open and respectful of other ways. So with that being said, I saw that, and I found a YouTube channel of someone who is a master astral projectioner from what I'm starting to understand. And the channel only has like 3,000 subscribers. They have videos from 8 years ago that are rolling at like 400, 900 views. And so I'm excited because I'm like, all right, like I'm in it. I'm deep in this rabbit hole. And I was just listening to, it was a 4-part series of reasons that you're not astral projecting, or things that can hold you back from your astral projections. And you know, the man goes on tangents, and he just brings up interesting points. And he has so many fun astral projection stories. And a lot of the things that he talks about are things that I can relate to, or like, okay, check, like I've experienced something like this before. I feel like I can trust you. And then he talks about things which I have no experience in. And I'm like, whoa, like, is that really where things go? But he has an eye of discernment that is just very logical, very rational, and very simple. And life isn't complicated. The mind might like really complicated things, really complicated practices, but life is really simple. And the answers are always really, really simple. They don't need to be complex. And more often than not, they're never that complex. But when you have a series of very simple things, all working in a system together, you get something as complex as life. But anyway, this whole system teaches, I think, what they call like tunzna, something like that, tunza, and it's their specific form of astral projection. I'm still like, this is really just today that I started to like dive more into it and all of that stuff. So I'm not super knowledgeable on it, but I don't know if it's like a specific systematic approach to astral projection in where you go, because the farther you get from here, the more energy things become, the less form things have. Because the big thing is, the big issue is that we're attached to our form, and our form has many layers to it. The initial physical form is this body, and then you go to the emotions, which have different forms in of themselves. The form of love, or the emotion taking the form of love, or the emotion taking the form of anger, 2 different forms which you can experience. Or you can go to the mind, which has more subtle but still different forms, which is thought. Imagination. You can create whole worlds, universes using your imagination with enough effort, but it's still just form. And so when you strip these things of their form and go back to the source, plants, these grapes, my body, all of it goes back to the one source. And so when you realize that you are of that one source, then you are not attached to the illusion of being this form. You're experiencing the form. Life is a playground, and it should be treated as such. And so I'm also using fasting to help me attain this type of stuff, because going back to Spira, you know, his mentor, he did a year-long juice fast, and in that he did a 29-day-long dry fast, so no food and water. And he did the hardcore version, which his body doesn't touch water, period. No shower, no brushing your teeth, nothing like that. And people might say, like, why on earth would you do that? But if you look at the healing that occurs when you fast, period, especially when you dry fast, it's insane. I'm not advocating for you to do that, by the way, not at all. What I'm saying is look at the research. And the reason I'm not advocating it is because people simply don't know what they're doing when they stop eating. They don't know what's going on in the body when they stop eating, and they don't even know how the foods that they're consuming is affecting their body. So you need to learn how your food affects you. That is legit like your responsibility, because you are given this divine tool, which is known as the body, and you are abusing it. You're using it wrongly. You're eating combinations of food, you're eating spices, you're drinking alcohol. You're just damaging it through and through. And so one, learn how what you're eating affects you. Then take a systematic approach to eating to clean out the body, and then approach fasting, because a lot of waste is going to be secreted, and you need to get the really dangerous stuff out first, because you can get the really dangerous stuff out first before you start fasting. So all of that to say, I've spent I started to take it more seriously. I started fasting in October, but I really started to take the book seriously in November. And we're on the cusp of June right now. So it's been a while. What? That's gonna be the 6th month? So I've been like 8 months. Okay, so I've been really prepping for like 8 months before taking this fast on. But anyway, Spira and Brother Air do tremendously long fasts. Like I said, Brother Air, that year-long juice fast. Spira, he's doing the 6-month-long juice fast. Oh, whoopsie, I still have more juice. And they talk about how it's just a completely different way of living. And though they don't talk about spirituality, they're always talking about the diet, there are times where they touch up on some spiritual aspects. Like, Spira has, I don't know if to call him like a star student or just someone that it's just someone that he helped a lot in the beginning. His name's Tony, and they start talking about Ramana Maharishi, or Ramana, as many people just know him. And Ramana is an incredible saint, beautifully enlightened being, beautiful soul. He had, royalty from his country and elsewhere come visit him. Many people, it's just, Ramana's one of those guys. And so they start talking about how you can just understand what he says, because Ramana speaks about how to attain enlightenment through self-inquiry. And so I was like, okay, no, these boys got some spirituality to them. And every now and then they'll slip a little something that shows me that they are studying the same things as me. They're just not choosing to speak about it, because if they're going to be talking about health and trying to make this diet, this system, I don't even want to call it a diet, because it's more dynamic than a diet. A diet is something that is fixed, a menu, if you will, that you can just eat from. This thing is an approach. What you don't just eat at random. You think about how you're consuming, and you systematically eat to remove things. You don't I think you understand what I'm saying. But I mean, it's a system. It's not just a fixed thing. So when they're trying to make that public, if they start talking about spiritual concepts and other spiritual things, that could be used to discredit them in the future, and use as opposition and make you think like, oh, this dude's a quack. Like, why would I listen to him and what he has to say? Because what he's saying is already out there. But yeah, that's honestly been dominating my consciousness recently. The diet system, not so much anymore. Like, it's slowly being taken over by Astral Projection. And I am so excited. I'm so happy, because I have been wanting to get back into it for so long. And even last night, my travels were much stronger. My experience, my presence there was much stronger. And I'm finding a large correlation in just presence in general, here and out of body. If you're unconscious when you're walking through life here, don't expect to be conscious and present in the astrals. There are many things that if you're serious about astral projection, you will do as you start to recalibrate yourself into it. And so I feel confident in myself, in my practices. I was able to astral project during my 10-minute break at work for a little bit. I feel confident in my ability to get myself out. I just really wanted to, like I said, bring it about in a super sustainable way. And I was ashamed of myself for taking such a long break. I felt, I just created all this stuff in my head that people are like, there's so much doubt. It's always me. I'm my biggest barrier, but I overcame it, and everything that happened needed to happen. And I'm so grateful for the people in my life. I'm so excited for the opportunities to come. I love that my girlfriend, my partner, is so open and supportive of this stuff. She really wants to learn. And I was in a relationship the last time I was super duper active, which was, well, not the last time, but the first time I really started YouTube. I was in a relationship, and I was astral projecting then, and my girlfriend really wasn't, or she wasn't my girlfriend, we were very on and off, but either or. Was not the biggest fan of that stuff, and created issues. But this time I am excited to have someone that is open. And shout out my ex. She was a wonderful teacher, and I love her for that, and I hope she's doing well. I felt like that sounded like slang, and I don't want to talk bad about her. But yeah, I'm just excited for what's to come. And I'm really excited to also heal my partner over time. We got her allergies taken care of in 5 days. Yes, you heard that right. Allergies, that stuff that everyone suffers from, adios in 5 days. And it came back later. You know why? Because she was eating poorly. And this isn't a call out. What it is to show that if you clean up the body, your sicknesses, your illness, your dis-ease, the dis-ease will go away, okay? You don't just treat the dis-ease. That all disease is just symptoms. They just manifest. It's the body manifesting different symptoms, cold and flu-like symptoms, symptoms of bronchitis, symptoms of kidney failure, symptoms of adrenal fatigue. You don't treat the symptom, okay? This is the life of cause and effect. So you treat what the cause of all disease is, which is a extreme constipation of all the tubes in the body. You know, your body is just one giant complex temple of tubes. Think about that for a little bit. I don't want to explain it because we've already 26 minutes into this, but yeah, so if you reconstipate that tube system that is your body, the disease is going to re-manifest. And that sadly is what happened, just for a little bit though. It seems like it went away, but I really haven't asked her about it. But I remember when we started to hang out, she would always have her nose clogged up and, you know, no more. But yeah, this is getting really long, so I'm just gonna end it there. This is, you know, that's what's going on. Love you guys, peace, and I will talk to you guys hopefully later into the fast. Adios.